Alright, well, I'm sorry for recording in the worst orientation possible, but to get a good keyboard view, this is all I can do. So, I found myself in a bit of a conundrum lately, and the conundrum is as follows. Well, if you don't know, I've been working on my own 60% keyboard. I've made the circuit board, had to do some repairs, but whatever. It works. And I didn't know what kind of switches I want to put in it. And I kind of went with what I thought I would like, which is Kailh box dark yellows. Heavy switches, linear. I thought I'd like the feel of that, but I don't know for sure. So what am I to do? Because if I solder all those switches into my custom keyboard and I don't like it, well then I either have to desolder everything, which is going to be a pain in the ass, or put together a new keyboard. Can't have that. So what I decided instead was that I'm going to take the blue switches out of at least the lower portion of this keyboard, because it's a 65% keyboard, or 60% keyboard, excuse me. So I have enough switches to get the main row here. And so I've decided that I'm going to use this Hyperkin keyboard, which is honestly kind of nice for being so cheap, as a nice test canvas for the Kailh box dark yellows. Now the problem is they're soldered in here, but it'll be a fun project. That said, I figured the best thing to do before we did it was to get a sound demo before and after. So what's in here are Cherry MX Blues, classic switches, and they're great. But I wanted something that I don't use every day, which is this, to try and test my box dark yellows to see if I like them before I commit to having them in my custom. So we're going to cut the video, and I'm going to come back with a proper sound test. So for this, the obligatory snaps to get an idea of my mic gain, which I should actually probably turn up. Alright, 104 words per minute. Not the best, but the point is you hear the sound. So, once I replace it with the yellow switches, we'll come back and hear how it sounds. And as we have it all torn down, you kind of see exactly what you'd expect to see. These switches are soldered in, there's diodes, LEDs on the bottom for the light bar, a microcontroller of some kind, I don't feel like figuring out what that is, and a header for USB. These solder terminals are pretty huge, so all I'm going to be using to get rid of them is one of these old solder plunger things that just do that, and my circuit specialist's soldering iron. Now, obviously I have that on my bed just for now because it's over there, but I'm going to move it to my workspace. I have a workspace that's not cloth or wooden, and I'm going to go ahead and pop all these switches out, and I'll come back once they're installed. I've been working on this for God knows how long, but it's finally done. I got the main setup switched with these Kailh box dark yellows. They're nice and heavy. Holy crap. Really happy to get an actual test on these. And I actually had enough left over, because there's 36 in a pack, I had to buy 2 packs, to get all the number pad keys. So these, you can hear remaining blue, but I just wanted to try these. Now, the problem with cheaper keyboards like these, the quality of the board is not the best. I had my soldering iron at a relatively low temperature and still wound up lifting a pad here and here. So you can see with some solid core wire, I just worked around the problem and reconnected the traces that dropped. And I'm going to cut these excesses off, don't worry. But unfortunately, that's going to happen when you're dealing with these like boards that aren't the best quality in the world. And yeah, it's just gonna happen. But you know, that's that. And also make sure all the solder is clear out of the holes before you try to get the switch out of there, because maybe it was the quality of board, or maybe it's the fact that it's 4:30 in the morning and I wasn't paying attention. But fixing these is relatively easy and stable. These will last a long time. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this thing to its test, and then assemble it And then once it's assembled, we'll get a sound test and my first thoughts. So, as you can see, the keyboard is back together. My initial impressions of this Switch, I'm not quite sure how to feel about them. They're very heavy, which I knew going into this. These have, I believe, 80-gram springs. Or 70-gram, excuse me. And I like them. I love them for typing, is what I'm finding. For typing specifically, great. Gaming, I don't know. But that said, this is a keyboard that I use to do primarily typing, so I'm glad I did this. And I quite like the sound of it, so I'm going to switch my mic over to a higher gain. And we're going to do another typing sound test, but again, just bear in mind the fact that I'm relatively new to these switches, especially. So it's probably not going to be the best, but we'll see. Okay, so this keyboard does sound nice, but whether it's 5 in the morning just being tired, or these new switches are so much heavier that it's taking some getting used to, my typing is not as good. I'm going to do a thing on Monkey Type and still try and get a sound demo. It's not going to be the best. I'm not going for speed. I just want to get the sound. So bear in mind I will probably make a crap ton of mistakes here, but let's just go for it. All right, 91 with an accuracy of 90%. It's not the best, but again, I'm getting used to these key switches. Let's try one more. All right. Basically, same result. Actually, a little less accurate that time. I'm not going for accuracy, though. I'm going for the sound. All right, there we go. 104 with a 93% accuracy. So now I'm getting used to these, and I like the sound quite a bit.